Goodness gracious. Alright. I am alive. I am awake. All that stuff. Hello. Hopefully everyone is having a good Friday. Um, we have stuff to discuss. Been a minute since I've streamed, and I admittedly look a little bit different because I trimmed my my beard down. And you're probably wondering what the hell happened here. I will actually show you. It's a little bit of an ouch. So, for those of you who do not know Xeon propaganda, I'll get to that. For those of you unawares, maybe you're not like a channel member or something, you're not in my Discord server. I got a really bad burn. Excuse me. A few days ago. And it hurt like a motherfucker. I got second-degree burns on my right hand, my left hand, and on my stomach. What happened was, I was making braised pork loin. So I'm searing the meat, and I make a stupid mistake. Normally, whenever you're searing meat in a pan, you want to lay it away from you, right? I flopped it into the pan, and I had a little bit too much olive oil in it. That olive oil was scorching hot. So it got everywhere. Hit me in both of my hands. I was cooking shirtless, so it hit me on my stomach. So now on my stomach, I shit you not, like 3 dots on my upper gut, and then 3 dots on my lower right gut. And then I have this spot right here. You can actually see some of the other burns. One of the other burns right here. This was a lesser one. And then I have several on my right hand that I'm using this to kind of keep like the smaller bandages in place. This is what it looked like right after it happened. Literally right after. So this is probably like 20 minutes after I had like sprayed it with antiseptic and had, you know, put my hand under running water, all that shit. Look at the size of this blister right here. Again, this was after a very short time. These got bigger. With this blister right here on the palm, you see this red area, like right around here? All of that became one big blister. And then this one grew out to about right here. Now, I'm healing pretty quick. What sucks is a couple of the blisters popped. Which the worrying thing is that you can get infected. So I had to use antiseptic again, and then, you know, now I'm just bandaging them like this. So it fucking hurt like a son of a gun. Like, I shit you not, I could feel myself cooking. Like, it's not a fun feeling. So, yeah, that's why I've got the bandage around my arm. I think I'm gonna... Really what this is doing is just holding a couple of smaller bandages in place. It's a little warm in here. I'm gonna go ahead and take the wrap off and show you. So... I'll actually use my hobby desk camera. So, on my right hand, there's these 2 bandages right here. And this right here, this big, like, kind of brownish spot right here, this dark, fleshy tone right here, this is the remnant of the big blister on the palm. And right here, as you can see, is fresh skin that has come through. This is just basically dead skin right here, just waiting to fall off. This is where that other blister was. These bandages are covering the blisters that popped. So, So yeah, it fucking hurt. Um, it's getting better really quick though, so I'm pretty happy about that. But that's not what we're actually here to talk about. I just wanted to give an update on that because I haven't streamed like in a week. And people were actually asking me questions like, "God damn, man, where'd you go?" So, so anyway, let's actually talk about Gundam stuff because that's what everybody's here for. So, Gundam Requiem for Vengeance came out yesterday, and I didn't even realize it. I knew it was coming out this month. For some reason, I thought it was coming out next week. And then I just checked Netflix, and it was there, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I got a few hours. Let's do this. So I sat down and I watched it, and I didn't like it. I didn't really like it at all. Where to even start with this? I kind of feel like this whenever I like first watch something, but this will give me the chance to like talk out my thoughts before I actually like write a review. I have to say, man, first and foremost, because of the fact that it's all computer animated, it honestly feels like it should have been titled MS Igloo 4, you know, and then Requiem for Vengeance. Because that's basically what it is. It really feels like it's because of the way it's animated, it feels like it's part of MS Igloo. And to be honest with you, because they did everything in Unreal 4, or Unreal 5, I'm not sure why they did that. That would, like, I saw that and I'm like, that's kind of weird. Where to even begin with it? So let's talk technical shit. Let me bring up the Wikipedia page. So this is the very first ever Western directed, to my knowledge, Universal Century Gundam story. It was directed by a guy named Erasmus Brosseau, who is the founder of something called Black Amber Digital. He did a let me have a look at what this is. He's a cinematic director, basically. And he did a couple of fan films. One of them that is like Warhammer inspired, about the Inquisition. And then another CG one. So somehow, I apologize for the yawning. But somehow he managed to get it cleared to do Gundam. This is his first attempt at a series like this. So, like, for his first big, project, he's getting quite literally an installment in the biggest anime franchise in the world right now in regards to dollars and cents. Let's say right now it's neck and neck between Dragon Ball and Gundam. So he's fresh from college. He's a young guy, but he hasn't done a ton of had a bunch of directorial credits, and none in regards to like an actual animated series, at least that I was able to find. It's written by somebody named Gavin Heinite, who, what has this guy worked on? He wrote Transformers Earthspark, which I know nothing about. He's done a lot. He did another Transformers series called Cyberverse, which I also know nothing about. He wrote a couple episodes of Avengers Assemble. Excuse me. But it looks like the big thing that he's known for lately is he was the writer of Tekken Bloodline, which I heard a lot of really good things about. I never got around to watching it. So that was a thing. So relative unknowns, or relative unknown director. The writer worked on Tekken Bloodline again, which sounds like a positive. And you know, so it's a relatively young team. The highlight, oddly enough, the one thing about this show that I will say is excellent is the score. The orchestral score is fucking fantastic in this show, and there's a reason why. It's done by the composer of Helldivers 2. Like, I shit you not. The composer's name is Wilbert Roget II. And this guy has done... He did Helldivers 2. He did the last two Mortal Kombat games. He did Call of Duty World War II. And he also did music for Star Wars The Old Republic. Pretty solid composer, to say the least. And I gotta say, like, and before that he was doing, like, he was an assistant on other Star Wars video games. It says here that he was a music assistant on Force Unleashed. He was a music assistant on Clone Wars Republic Heroes, Elite Squadron. Yeah. So this is a dude that's been around the block. Solid composer. Good pick. Like, honestly, if you're wanting somebody who's gonna get this, like, a spirit of a, like, ground-based Gundam show, which is what this is, getting the dude who composed Helldivers and has worked on Star Wars shit before, which Star Wars obviously was a big influence on Gundam, is smart. Very smart on that regard. So the music is awesome in this series. The thing that kind of gets my goat is everything else. So I actually had to do a little looking around. And so where it fits in canon, it takes place in Romania during like literally right before the Odessa Day operation. And I think they got the timeline right. I'm going to double check it real quick. So it started on November 7th and ended on November 10th. I don't think they got the timeline right, actually. Let me check. Because this might be, this might be wrong. I'm going to open Netflix real fast. I'm going to keep it muted, but...
All right, try to step in.
Right as I say that. Where is it? I just fucking launched you. Damn you. Alright, mute. Back to episode 1. Okay. So, give it just a second. it says something around the opening of it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it starts on November 6th at 1527. And Operation Odessa is the day after that. I have not seen Silver Phantom yet. We're gonna stick to discussing this for a bit, and then we'll talk about other stuff. But so this is going on while Operation Odessa is going on, which there's lore shit in this right out of the gate that it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, for example, why the fuck is there a Gundam in bumfuck Romania right before Operation Odessa? Why? Why would it not be deployed to the front line? Why is it on the back line picking off random fucking Zeon encampments? Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So that's a problem. That's one thing that bothers me about it. Second thing is that though I appreciate having a Zaku squadron or of 4 pilots that they actually have red shoulders, and which that's a Vodums reference. I appreciate the Vodums reference. That's cool. But the problem I have is that if these guys were aces at the Battle of Loom, why are we just now hearing about them? Because, like, for every fucking, and this is the problem with fucking around with established canon, is you don't have somebody to actually like hit there and like sit there and talk to you about it. Everybody at the Battle of Loom who did some crazy shit came out like a rock star in the Zeon ranks, and were well known throughout the Zeon army. Char, Ramba Ral, Shin Matsunaga, Ana Velgato, who else? Well, we don't know if Ana Velgato was at Loom, but he was definitely at Operation British. But him, I know I'm forgetting others. Oh, the Black Tri-Stars. You know, so, like, why are we just now hearing about these guys? You know? It's sort of a thing where it's like, we would have heard, like, you're doing a show that this show, like, is, like, 50 years after the original has come out. Well, not quite that long, but, like, all of the ace pilots are kind of already known and long since established. I feel like trying to throw in, just reference the Battle of Loom feels like you're just doing it to reference the Battle of Loom. I would have honestly, personally, done something like, you know, we hear that, or, you know, you pulled some crazy maneuvers over in California, which would make a little bit more sense. Or Garrett Schmitzer speaks highly of you. For those who don't know, Garrett Schmitzer is head of the Midnight Fenrir. Like, stuff like that, I feel, would have come across a lot better, you know? Or, like, invoke another ground pounder, like Norris Packard. Like, Norris Packard is, spoke highly of you. You know, something like that. Because later on, we actually see Yuri Kellern in this show, from 08MS team, who in English is not voiced by the same dude, sadly. But I'll get to that in a minute. But, so there's lore problems here. I feel like the lore in this was not as well researched as Code Fairy's was. And even then, Code Fairy, like, had some problems in it. So that after doing the whole 1 Year War series, that really bothered me. I was like, fuck, dude, like, you needed a lore expert on this to kind of help you, like, not fuck it up. Sorry, I gotta blow my nose real fast. Ah! Ah, fuck. I'm all stuffed up. I felt like a giant glob of snot come out of my nose, and I'm still stuffy. What the fuck, dude? Anyway, I'm just gonna have to wear a fucking nasal strip later. As I was saying, so those are some continuity problems that I have right out of the gate. I feel like if this was closer to where Operation Odessa was taking place, then having a modified Gundam ground type, which is effectively what this Gundam in the show is, I feel like having that would have made a lot more sense. The problem is that they're in fucking Romania. You know? Like, they're kind of on the outskirts of where Odessa would have taken place. So it's kind of like, come on, man. So yeah, like that could have used some better planning, in my opinion. So there's that. What else is there? Character designs are kind of weird. Somebody, like, before the stream started, said something about, like, pandering to the modern Western audience. The show is not written like that at all. There's a couple character designs that I could understand why you would think that, but the reasoning for it is not what you would expect. The lead character's name, who, by the way, is the one character that is enjoyable in this show, because she's actually a character, is named Iria Solari. She is our lead character. She is a very likable young lady. She's a mom. She legitimately cares very deeply about her squad. She comes across, at least at the start of it, at least at the start of it, comes across like she's not really buying into the Xeon propaganda. She's just there to do a job. Which, of course, if you're going to do a ground pounder series, I think that's a smart thing to have as a character. Is somebody that just this is job, it's a blue collar job, man. So with but Yuri Kellern is she's a good character. The one thing that people got on about her design is the problem haircut, which, when you see her close up, you actually understand why this side of her head is shaved. There's a massive scar that comes from here all the way down to her eye. And whenever you have surgery for something like that, like I'm imagining that might have been shrapnel that hit her. You would have to shave that part of your head to let it heal properly. So I think, so at least there's a reason why she does not act like typical Western female protagonist. She feels all the characters in this feel very anime. If you had told me that a Japanese guy wrote this, I would believe you. If I didn't know beforehand that this was the first Gundam anything to be, where most of the creative was done by Westerners. But she's the one character that's kind of like worth mentioning in this. The rest of them are just kind of there, to be truthful with you, except for the colonel. The colonel that you meet in the show, I liked him a lot because he had complication to him. He was very adamant about his orders, but that, even though they inconvenienced our protagonists, you understood why he said what he did. He's just trying to protect people. He's just trying to take care of his people, which is what a commanding officer is supposed to do. So, so I have to say that, like, characterization, like, I really almost feel like we should have gotten more episodes of this. I feel like it should have taken place a little bit earlier in the timeline instead of around Odessa Day. I feel like, and this is just me, I feel as if it should have taken place a month prior, because when did the Battle of Side 7 take place? Attack on Side 7 is, I want to say it's in August. Uh, 9 months have passed. So, yeah, it takes place in August. I would have rather this story took place in September, around the time that the White Base is just now making landfall on Earth. That's around time that the Gundam's legend starts to spread around. The idea that somebody wouldn't know about a Gundam in November of 0079 is a little preposterous to me. I would have much rather you said it before that, and literally, like, but still do this thing that they were doing where the Gundam kind of felt like a wraith. It felt like a ghost, which is why it's like completely white. It was something that was ridiculously fearsome. The one thing that they do in this is the Gundam itself feels like an actual Gundam from the original animated series, in the sense that it's fast. It literally moves like it makes Zaku's look like they're standing still. It's fast, it's maneuverable. The beam weapon, of course, shocks the shit out of people. Like, I feel like it would have been more effective if we weren't doing this entire story within the course of like a week. I think that it really should have been something like the 08 MS team, where it takes place over the course of several months and then ends the way that it ends. So that's another thing I didn't really like about it. So yeah, characterization is weak. The English dub in this sucks. It's not good. I blame the voice director for it. I feel like something good could have been done here, but whoever the voice director was on the English side was phoning it in. So the English dub is not good, which is really unfortunate to me, because I didn't watch the English dub of Witch from Mercury because I don't care. But I did watch the English dub for Hathaway. Hathaway has an excellent one. So I'm wondering who fumbled the fucking ball here. So that frustrates the shit out of me. Because if I can avoid watching something in Japanese, I will. The Japanese VA work was far superior. I think Yuri Kellern was voiced by the same guy that he was in 08 MS team. Let me double check. Let me check that real quick. Doesn't say on the Wikipedia page. Does it say on the Gundam Wiki? Yes, it's voiced by the same guy in Japanese. So, yeah. I would have much rather had more time to breathe, have a couple more episodes, have a little bit more time spent with the Federation side of things. Because I really feel like that was so underdeveloped and just kind of underbaked, or just undercooked. Like, that needed more time in the oven, you know? Because the only time you actually see the Gundam pilot is in the next to last episode, when they try to hijack some gyms to bring them in for Kellern and study them. Yeah, the VAs just felt stiff. But that Mobile Suit Jack mission fails spectacularly. That's the only time that we see the Gundam pilot. We find out that he's a new type, which, I mean, kind of goes. Yeah, it's kind of expected. And of course the lead character is a new type as well, you know. Because she's able to sense when the Gundam is coming, because she can sense fellow new types, which is what new types do. But I really feel like the story would have been a lot better if we got to know a little bit more about the origin, about the kid that pilots that Gundam, and the other soldiers around him. Why is it that he comes across as kind of withdrawn from society? Is he autistic? Like, what was got Asperger's? Like, what's his deal? I want to know. Give me story. Give me story. Give me characters. Tell me a little bit, like something, for fuck's sake. So there's that. Gosh. Another thing to mention is, like, the human animation was really stiff too. Like, it just, like, it was so nestled in the uncanny valley. I had a really hard time liking it, because I felt like the human animation was on par with MS Igloo. But the problem is that MS Igloo came out a long fucking time ago. In fact, when did this come out? The Hidden 1 Year War. 2004. 20 fucking years ago. 20 fucking years ago. And the human facial animation and body animation is no better. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. So there's that. Yeah, I already mentioned the characters. I really don't like the fact that, like, there's not very much development. Everybody is just kind of like your typical Seek Zeon type person. I did find it really weird, though, that they threw in a heavily tattooed character that looks like she's part of an all-girls Ramones cover band in the middle of the Zeon military. And I'm kind of... I see that, and I'm like, I know what you're doing here. I know what you're doing. What is that girl's name in... the redhead from Thunderbolt. Bianca Carlisle. You're trying to do Bianca Carlisle, but with Zeon. The thing is that Bianca Carlisle, all of her tattoos were covered by her pilot suit. Or her dress uniform. Like, you got a Zeon... I am not of the opinion that a Zeon commanding officer would let a woman have fucking facial tattoos that would give her away in the fucking field. Like, that just, like, I saw that and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was like one of the words was in German on her fucking eyebrow. And then they have her infiltrating a Federation base. I'm like, you're gonna know that there's Zeon from a fucking mile away. The hell? So that I didn't like. I understand you're kind of like, you're trying to kind of like do a Bianca Carlisle thing. I get it. It didn't work here. It didn't land. I have no problem with a heavily tattooed character in Gundam. I like Bianca Carlisle. But I felt like the attempt here just fell flat. The character just kind of stuck out like a sore thumb along all these other fucking like strict uniformed Zeon characters. So that was a bit of a miss. Yeah, she has a giant like tattoo of a Zaku like right here. And it's like, man, what the fuck? So that one is kind of like, I kind of overthought that. Um, so that was another thing that really bothered me about it. It's like the animation is just not, it's not as good as it could be. You should have got the guy who did Astartes. That dude knew animation. This dude, not quite. Kind of missed it a bit. Again, needed more time in the oven. The overall plot, I don't know why it's called Requiem for Vengeance. Like, nobody's really, vengeance is not really anyone's motivation in this. You know, like, except for, like, maybe the black guy? Like, it never really felt like that. I felt like if we're going to do the whole cycle of violence thing, you need to, yeah, Games Workshop has the Astartes guy. There's no way you're getting him. But still, you know, oddly enough, though, Bandai Namco is doing work with Games Workshop. Because they animated the recent short film that was that's on the Warhammer website. It's about a kill team taking down a big ass fucking Necron unit. But anywho. Yeah. The yeah, so the title doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Like, I just don't feel like you're really justifying why you're calling it Requiem for Vengeance. So, yeah, it's like, if we're gonna do, because cycle of violence sort of things, like that's a Gundam thing, you know, like that's kind of your typical Gundam affair, right? I like stories like that. But it doesn't really land. There is the conclusion of the final battle makes you feel really hollow. And like, what the fuck was even the point of all of this? In a good way. In a Gundam way. You know, of like, oh my god, that just happened. Like, this, why are we even here? You know? And it makes you hate war. Which is what Gundam is supposed to do. So it definitely had that moment in the last episode. And then the episode kept going. So the event happens, and it should have just rolled credits. But then it keeps going. And it's like, what are you doing? I felt like I was watching Return of the King again. I'm like, you ended the film. It's over. It's done. You ended it. Why are we doing another ending? And then, of course, Return of the King, like, ends 5 more times. But in this time, it just ended again. And then the ending, it was like, the actual ending, the lead chick is like, oh, well, I'm in Africa now. And, as long as there is a war where children are being forced to fight, I will keep fighting. I'm like, does the writer of this show not know what goes on during Operation Star One? I'm sorry, but what the fuck? What? What the fuck are you doing? What is this shit? Like you're gonna be very disappointed when you get back to Space Lady. Like, what the fuck? Really? Did you miss the part of the last episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam where there are literal children in mobile suits, like literal children in Zaku 2's crying as they get blown up? Like, what the fuck? Did you not watch MS Igloo? Like, really, man? So it's Zeon that's got a problem with it. I get that she's a mom, and that's obviously going to perturb her. Like, duh. But the way you pulled it off, you went too far with it. So I'm gonna spoil something real quick. I don't know if I have a spoiler tag here, so I'm gonna put up, for anybody that watches the VOD, I'm gonna go ahead and put up some text real quick that just says spoilers. Let me grab a different font. There we go. So I'm going to take this spoiler warning and I'm going to put it down here. So, actually, no, wait, hold on. Put it down here. So if you don't want spoilers, close your ears for about 5 minutes, because we're going to talk about the ending. So the ending of it is that our main character, she is trying to stop the Gundam from potentially destroying FLVs as the Zeonic people try to, of course, get the fuck out of there, because war's basically over at this point. Or at least the war to try to take the Earth is basically done. So Iria is in a Zaku 2. She's fighting against the Gundam, trying to hold it off. She's just buying time. That's all she's trying to do. And it ends up where she does the new type thing of, like, communication needs to happen. So she hails the Gundam pilot while they're fighting. And they talk. And she's just basically telling him, like, I know you don't want to be here. I understand you don't want to be here. I understand you don't want to be a soldier. Because, like, I've seen you, I've met you, we've, I know you're just a kid, I know you don't want to be here. So they keep fighting, the Gundam is winning, but, she's trying to basically get him to stop attacking so that her people can just go home. This is basically all it is. It's like, I just want my people to go home. I just want my people to go home. And, like, the whole idea is just basically, like, you're kind of just realizing that what she's up against is a child that got turned into a war machine. And obviously, because she's a mother, she doesn't want to, like, kill a child. And what ends up happening is the fight continues, and it goes and it goes and it goes. And then finally, as at least one of the HLVs lifts off and gets the fuck out of there, the kid finally just says, all right, it's over. I'm done. You're right. You're just trying to get your people home. I'm finished. I'm not going to continue fighting you. And he actually saves her life from some debris that's going to come down. So the fight is over. She has successfully talked the Gundam down. He's probably going to just walk away from this. Then a Goof Custom comes up and shanks it right in the back. Kills the kid. Just fucking murders the child. It is cold. It is calculated. It is the reality of war in one stab of a heat knife. One stab, kid's dead. Gundam is defeated. Fight's over. If that had been the ending, if you rolled credits on her crying over what just happened, because a child that is no older than her son, that is still up on the colony staying with family, was just murdered in war. That would have been so fucking powerful as an anti-war message. Because it's like, this is what war turns us into. It takes one military side being invaded. They are enlisting children and putting them in their strongest weapons because the children can fight better than the adults. Because the kid's a new type, basically. So they're going to turn him into a child soldier. But on top of that, a Zeon soldier just callously kills a fucking child when the fight was already over and he had sheathed his weapon. If that had been the end, I would be praising the ending. That would have felt like Gundam. Because that's what Gundam does. Like that, that hollow fucking feeling that you got when Haman Karn died in Double Zeta. That just hollow fucking feeling. You're like, this should not have happened. Or, that really hollow feeling like at the end of Zeta Gundam that you get when Camille gets brain fucked into oblivion. Like, that's what I felt when that sword went through that Gundam. I felt hollow because it was the reality of that war, of the 1-year war, in one moment. The Federation enlisting children to fight the war for them because Zeon has tried to genocide the fuck out of them. But at the end of the day, it's a mother who has already lost her husband fighting a child in a killing machine. And we finally reach common ground. The way that new types are supposed to do things, right? Their ability to communicate is unparalleled. They finally reach consensus. And it's a beautiful moment. And it looks like the fight's over. People got to go home. And let's just lay down let's just go home. We don't have to keep this going. Let's just go home. And it seemed like our main characters had both come to the consensus on, let's just go home. Let's just end it. And then, dead. That's powerful shit. That's stupid powerful. So to give it another ending, when you're like, I'm not going to let this war keep going on that has fucking children in it. It's like, dude, what the fuck, man? Because it comes across at that point like you're just trying to make Zeon out to be the fucking righteous ones. And clearly you need to watch MS Igloo. Like, look up who piloted the fucking Augos in MS Igloo. Come the fuck on, man. Like, that's my message to the writer. Like, you're just like, at that point you're whitewashing Zeon. And to me, like, that blows my fucking mind. Like, you could have had this poignant statement about the horror of war in a time where, by the way, we have two big wars going on, one in the area surrounding Israel and another one in Ukraine, that honestly are fights that could have been avoided, that in my opinion shouldn't have even happened, but they happened. And I'm not going to go into politics, so don't everybody start shitting at my chat. But in your lifetime, you're going to look, we will all experience a war where we go, man, did that really have to happen? Could this have been avoided? Why did you do this? We ask ourselves these questions as people, and Gundam is wonderful because it's a show that is about giant fucking robots that can invoke that part of you. And then you end it with the character who is part of a military that uses a bunch of children in its battles at the end of the war. You're gonna like that like what the fuck? And I was just about to say that same diff in chat. So she goes to Africa, meaning that she probably died in Stardust memory anyway. So what the fuck was the point of the speech? Is it sequel baiting? Because this doesn't deserve a sequel. Honestly. It really does not look like it doesn't deserve a sequel. I do not need a sequel to this. It was a self-contained story. It should have ended where I think it should have ended. I am fucking mystified. So at the end of the day, it's just a flawed as fuck series that could have at least had a really strong ending. Because that last episode up to that point is really good. I was watching it and I'm like, damn, this is some pretty good fucking Gundam. And it just shat the bed. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And the funny thing about it is that was the only thing about it that felt Western to me. We have to end on the shot of the hero saying something prolific about why they're going to just keep going. And I think to myself, how many people in here have watched shows like Band of Brothers or The Pacific? Anybody aside from me? Like, one thing I love about The Pacific and about Band of Brothers is that there are moments where the soldiers are just like, why the fuck are we here? That, to me, if you're going to end it on a shot like that, should have been a statement about how the fuck did we get here? To where half the human population is fucking dead. And on top of that, I just watched a child get murdered after he agreed to stop fighting. I watched somebody who saved my life. A child saved my fucking life. And he just died like that. Killed like a dog. Why the fuck are we here? That's the sentiment that I really feel a great war story. Especially if you're going to try to drum home the tragedy and sometimes pointlessness of war. That's what you should have ended it with. Not this fucking thing of, oh, Federation bad. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So it's the Federation that's the problem, huh? It's the Federation that's the problem, huh? You referenced the fucking Battle of Loom. For those of you who are here, is there anybody in here that does not know what the context of the Battle of Loom is? I'm assuming there's a few. I'm going to give it to you real quick. The context of the Battle of Loom is that the Battle of Loom takes place after Operation British. Operation British is the first colony drop. Killed billions. The Battle of Loom was their attempt to try to grab another colony to drop it on the Earth. Again. And the Federation had to throw everything that they had at them to stop it. So, you've got the Battle of Loom, which followed an operation that killed billions, and would have been another operation that if it was completely successful, the next attempt at a fucking colony drop would have killed even billions more! What the fuck, bro? Zeon are not good people. They are terrible people. The Federation is corrupt. Zeon is genocidal. They are literally run by Hitler. Well, not literally Hitler, but figuratively Hitler. Giran Zombie is compared to Hitler by his father! Jesus Christ. Give me just a second, I'll read that. Come on, man! Damos throws in $1.07. He says, Requiem for Vengeance is basically a glorified SMN... Let me try that again. Requiem for Vengeance is basically a glorified SFM fan film, and the fact Sunrise gave it the okay baffles me. I am in the same boat. Like, I am mystified by that. Absolutely fucking mystified. So the conclusion of the show is Go Zeon. The other military that also uses kids. Uses several of them. Good God. What the fuck? Both Zeon and the Federation in the final battle are basically fuck them kids. Like, really, man? Really? That's what we're doing here? The fuck is your problem? And by the way, I don't even think in this show that the Federation was that bad. They're just doing their job. Like, the Gundam doesn't do anything. If anything, there's points where the Gundam could have pulled the trigger on non-military targets and didn't do it. Oh my God. It just... I hate that. By the way, whenever I get to doing the video on Unicorn, expect a similar rant. Because Unicorn does the same shit. And it pisses me off. Like, it gets my goat because it's like, I really feel like it could have been good. I like the idea of doing what is effectively a Zeon 08MS team. I like that idea. I think that's kind of neat, and that's what I thought this was going to be. And clearly, that was the creator's intention, because it has the fucking admiral from the rear admiral from 08MS team in this. But the lore is fucked. The timeline is really screwy. There's no reason as to why what was clearly an experimental version of the Gundam ground type, in Romania, of all places, like, it just doesn't feel that well thought out. And man, I just really did not enjoy it, like, at all. I wanted to like it, because there's other things that they did well. The mobile suit designs in motion actually, in context, made a lot more sense. Why they had a bunch of just shit stapled onto them, basically, is because they were literally rebuilt in a fucking scrapyard. I like the fact that the main squad of Zaku's, that their color scheme is an homage to the Scope Dog from Vodham's, like, and the Red Shoulder Brigade. Like, I really liked that. That was really cool. So I feel like there's there was a good show somewhere in this. You know, there was a good show somewhere in this. But they just kind of shat the bed at the end, and like, it's unfortunate because I don't like seeing Gundam shows that are not that don't hit their mark, because I love Mobile Suit Gundam so goddamn much. I mean, you could see the Nightingale I'm working on down here. I liked the main character. I liked the idea that she was a mom, a widow, that, you know, was effectively like just at a point where the fight was really the one thing that she had at this point, and it was basically, I have to do this to get back to my son. That's cool. I dig that kind of, it adds tragedy to the mix. But we didn't get to know the background of any of the other characters like that. It was just her. So that was unfortunate. So when characters get Tamano'd in this story, like, you don't really feel a whole lot because you don't get to know them that well. You know? The medic being the fucking pacifist. I immediately thought back to Red versus Blue and Doc. I heard just Tucker in the back of my head going, "He's a pussy fest," and then Caboose going, "He is a pacifier," you know. My name is Michael J. Caboose, and I hate babies. Oh man. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it could have been so much more than it was. I feel like it's a show that didn't maximize its minutes. You know, some of the imagery was really good. I especially liked the dream sequence in the final episode of our lead character playing the violin. She's wearing this beautiful ornate red dress, but it flows outward like blood, and just the audience she's playing to is all the people she knows that died. Like, that was a really cool bit of imagery. Like, that was really well thought out. Like I said, the final episode is good up until the ending. The second one, the second ending. The ending that we didn't need. If you cut that out, you would miss nothing. The Gundam being a slasher movie monster on its peak. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. It's like, I like the idea of a Gundam as like a wraith, as a force of nature on the battlefield that, like, you don't get any understanding of it at first, but at some point, if we're going to start characterizing the pilot of the Gundam, we need to get some time with him more than just watching him play the PSP. This is just a show that it needed a couple more episodes of other stuff. I would have loved to have seen a couple episodes dedicated to the Gundam pilot and the Federation forces. Show the other side of the war. 08MS Team did that. 08MS Team had plenty of scenes with the Zeon forces, and an episode of the 08MS Team was the same length as the episode length in this. But the problem is that, like, though there's a lot of really good action in this, I mentioned earlier the mobile suit fights are really good. I feel like there's a couple of them we didn't really need. Like, for example, if the first episode, our characters just got away, and then we followed the Federation for a little bit, and then we go back to the Zeon side, I think it would have been a better use of your time. You know? Funny if she gets stomped by Ko and the rest of the Albion. That's basically what's going to happen if she's in Africa. Because she would have been there with the people who retreated from California base the next month. I'm on the opposite of that, actually. I wanted less to be known about the Gundam pilot and just kept him being a force of nature. I can understand that, but then you would have to have a different ending. At that point, I would do something like what Stargazer did, if you're just going to do that, where we don't know it was a child in that cockpit until the very end. And then what I would have done is, you see the cockpit, you see what's left of the kid, and then have the mother basically, like, hallucinate for a second and see her own child's face. You know? That's how I would do it. If you're just gonna keep it that way. Because that was one thing that I thought was really powerful in Stargazer, was the reveal of the kids being in that fucking Jin mobile suit. That was really fucking well done. So yeah, it was. It's unfortunate. I want more good Gundam. This just didn't hit the mark. All right, so let's see what chat's saying. Same diff says, I agree with your takes. I see it this way. Half of humanity's dead. Earth is invaded. There's very little room for ethics of not using children. Well, I think that's more of the thing of, like, we're talking logistics, and then we're talking, like, the actual the time that we spend when we pull back from a conflict and analyze what it did to humanity and the levels it drove us to. Because no matter which way you slice it, morality is still morality, even in war. Let's see here. What's your opinion on Ideon? I need to finish it. That's my opinion. I like it. I'm a third of the way through, and I do like what I've watched. Hope the stream's going well. Honestly, not a fan of having Zeon as the main focus. I'm more of a Federation stan. I am too. I don't mind a good Zeon focused story as long as it's honest about what Zeon is. That's why I like MS Igloo so much. MS Igloo is pretty flat out blunt about the fact that Zeon's run by a guy who thinks Hitler is awesome and has no sense of how to actually run a fucking military outside of just, like, constant propaganda. Do you want to know if Girin Zabi was running Nazi Germany? His consistent tactic to win the war would just be airing Triumph of the Will over and over again on every television station. All one of them. You know. That's what Girin Zabi would have done. I wasn't wrong when someone said it was basically an SFM. Pretty much, yeah. Though it looked a lot better than something that was made in Source Filmmaker. Ultimately, for me, I was just happy we got a war story not mired in the LOL Anaheim Electronics pad. Yeah, we'll talk about Unicorn at some point, I promise. Show got your friend into Gundam, so that's good. Well, that is cool. I will give the thumbs up for that then. It's like, one thing I will freely admit, if something gets somebody into the rabbit hole, even if I don't like it, I think that's a positive. I say the same thing about Seed, oddly enough, is that I hate Gundam Seed, but for some people, that was their entrance into Gundam, and now they love the whole fucking franchise. And it's like, look, I'm just glad that you're here in getting to imbibe all the other cool shit. That's cool, at least. So there's that. Anyone, way you slice it, was that a Gundam narrative plug? No. And by the way, the end credits of my videos are not meant to be a plug for narrative. I haven't watched narrative since it came out, so I don't remember a whole lot of it. I just think that Vigilante's a really good song. That's all of it. That's all it is for me. I think Vigilante is just a great fucking song. So, let's see. What else is people saying? Haven't seen the show yet, but timeline-wise, where does this take place? 1 second. Sorry, you guys aren't boring me. I've been up all day. It takes place literally the day before Operation Odessa, so it's in a really weird spot. Anyone get a little annoyed with the triumphant music playing while they talk about Glorious Xeon? Yup. Somewhere Tamino is burying his head in a pillow and screaming. Playing through Castlevania Limit of Innocence because it's Halloween. Just wanted to play a good game and have fun. Good. IBO is goated. Fuck yeah, it is. I love IBO. Some point we're doing a deep dive of that. I think there should be a UC story set in the lull period between Hathaway and F91. There is. Gundam F90. Gundam F90 is basically the final Xeon story. It finally puts everything Xeon to bed. Even though Unicorn kind of already did that, but whatever. F90 largely exists just to sell a bunch of P-Bandai shit. That's basically why it exists. Which, admittedly, you know, from what I understand, it worked. The P-Bandai store was kind of carried by F90 stuff for a while there. I checked out Gundam Age yet? Nope. What I have been busy with is working on video scripts for the Spooky Month videos this month. The next one is Hellsing, and then after that is Trinity Blood, and then after that is the final part of Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing Explained. What is on P-Bandai right now? What do we got here? Let's have a look. We've got the Wings of Light for the Victory Gundam. God, I wish I had money for this for the V2. Avalanche X. Oh, god damn it. Why do I have no money right now? I would fucking love to do the Estrella Type F. Because the pilot of this fucking mobile suit is a goddamn crackhead and I love it. Let's see here. They've got Jim Cannon Red. Oh! Well, this is cool. Another thing I wish I had money for. The narrative B-Packs. And motherfucker. No fucking way. And it hasn't sold out yet. literally checking my bank account right now. I have to do a thing real quick. Guys, I will be right back. And no, it's not worth it to watch the new show. I think there's something wrong with my bank's website at the moment. I'm checking to see if I have enough money for this. I cannot pass up another Endless Waltz fucking kit, man. Damn, I don't have enough. Well, that sucks. I get paid with YouTube money here in a few days anyway, so it's not a huge deal. I'll just buy it then if it hasn't sold out. But fuck me, dude. I'm one at that point. At that point, I am one away from having the full Endless Waltz collection. All I need is heavy arms. Anyway, what's chat been saying? Why, Mata? I can't do the whole spiel again, man. I've been streaming for an hour, giving reasons. You're just gonna have to watch the VOD. How short are you? Not short at all. My chair sunk. Hold on a second. There we go. Or how short am I dollar-wise? A decent chunk. I have a lot less money in my account than I thought I did. But anyway. You want a goof now? I will say, with a little bit of elbow grease, the goof custom master grade's pretty good. It's aged, but it's still a pretty stable kit. I like mine quite a bit. Why? Somebody had messaged me about V. I don't know, for those who have seen, but he's another person that got broke by the Silent Hill 2 remake, and apparently he tried to say that romance was better in Nikke than it is in Baldur's Gate 3, and it's like, first off, no. Second, Nikke, like, money from that goes directly to the Chinese Communist government. We're promoting this. Why? How the fuck can you fight a goddamn culture war and then do stuff that helps fund the communists? Fucking Coomers. I swear to Christ. Anyway. But yeah, to get the Sandrock, I definitely just need a good chunk of money. But yeah, Nikke is partially owned by Tencent. Or at least it's the development studio that makes it is owned by Tencent. So Nikke is a good game. It gives money to commies. The commies are bad. I mean, I don't... There's only one way I could drive the point home a little harder. Let me see if it's back here. Are you guys ready for me to make the point very clear in regards to this? You guys ready? I'm dusting something off. Yes, comrade! We here We are communists. We love the Nikkei. We love the Wukong. We love the titty games that are made by Tencent, comrade, because they fund the cause. They fund the cause that keeps the people poor. They fund the cause that makes sure that Uyghur Muslims are put into concentration camps, comrade. They fund all of these terrible and great and wonderful things. And it's fucking wonderful to watch people on the Twitter. I think that's what you still call it. I can't call it constantly. But comrade, you are funding communist revolution. And you're doing it when you think you're a capitalist Republican? I am amazed, comrade. You are best useful idiot ever. Incredible. I told Stalin many years ago. I went into Joseph Stalin's, into his office, and I said, Comrade Stalin, Commissar Micah has the solution to defeating the West. Are you prepared for this? Titties. That is what will get them. In the future, there will be people in the West that hate us communists. Absolutely despise us. Absolutely despise us, the Chinese, North Korea. They'll hate all of us, comrade. But there are ways to defeat them. We'll have a bunch of stupid twinks go to the United States and shit up all of their stuff. And then have them get really offended by titties. So we'll take communist money and give it to people who make titty games. And then they'll just give money to communism. But they'll think they're winning the culture war. When they're just giving us stuff, comrade. They're making us stronger. They're idiots. It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But Comrade Stalin, he did not listen to me. He did not listen to me. He does not understand the power of the titty and its ability to make grown men do very stupid things. Titties have been making grown men do stupid things for a very long time, comrade. Very, very long time. I mean, look at the British. They left the Catholic Church over titties. King George, I think it was. That one, comrade, that guy was a fucking stooge. He just wanted babies. To make babies with women with big fucking titties. And he just couldn't get it done for whatever reason. I guess it wasn't working that well. I guess at the time the British had problems with their cocks instead of their teeth. But yes, the key to defeating capitalism is titties. I don't know if I could drive the point home any harder. We have a name for that character. It's Commissar Micah. Oh, God. Understood buying 100 copies of Black Myth Wukong, spending my money on Nikkei. Oh, my God. That's funny. But, yeah. That, drives me fucking crazy, man. Y'all got me to break out the fucking, commie hat, man. I haven't worn this thing in a while. This was like literally sitting on the floor in my office. It's been that long since I threw this thing on. I'm surprised I got this for... I think I bought this on Amazon for like $25. It's lasted me 5 years. Granted, I don't wear it that often, but still. 60 feet further, comrades. And 3 rows in. Name that movie. Though admittedly, my Russian accent is not good. I couldn't quite get the constant Russian accent and put emotion into it. This is more a Russian accent. This, however, is more Roman Balic. Yes, cousin. You know, I basically went from fucking from Russian to like Yugoslavia. You know, it's not quite the same. It is not easy to do smooth Russian accent like this, and get passionate about what you're talking about. It's you start to lose it, comrade. You start to lose it. The Alex versus any mobile suit in 0083. Your thoughts? Fuck Gatto and Nina Purpleton. The Alex would be competitive, absolutely. Depending on who's piloting it, though. Like, if you put a new type into it, then yeah, the Alex is lethal. Just a normal person, and eh. Nah, Serena, I completely disagree. Actually, you know what? No, I do agree. It didn't become popular because of boobs. It became popular because of ass. The back door, comrade. Jiggly booty. That is the key. I told comrade... I told Comrade Stalin that the back end of woman, very underrated. People think some Japanese developer took the term boobs are life, ass is hometown. No, that came from me. Remembering hometown of Vladivostok. There is something just enamoring about the jiggle that the woman has. There is nothing like it. Then I started ranting about the former girlfriend, and Stalin kicked me out of his office. Comrade, it was not a good conversation. I just turned Irish there for a second. But anyway. I don't know if it was the music. Chat. Let's settle a bet here. Help me out. When you think of Nikkei, do you think of music? Is that what brought it to your attention? Or do I just need to start quoting lyrics from Ass and Titties? Oh, goodness. I think of back pain. Oh, no. Shimmy, shimmy, ya, shimmy, yay. Give me the mic so I can take it away. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Goodness. All right. Enough of me being Commissar Micah. What else we got? Would I ever make a video about Gundam X? I have one planned. So, with this month, we're focusing on horror shit. Because it's October. Like, I think Shirt Dude told me that, excuse me. Where was he at with Hellsing? He's almost done with it. So, I've got to finish up the Trinity Blood review, because that's the final of the 3. But, the next videos after that are all Gundam. Like, we've got the end of Gundam Wing. We've got that going on. We've got Gundam X. I'm going to do a video on that because I break down why I think it flopped. Because there's not really a video I could find about it. So I figured, yeah, fuck, why not do it? Because people get on me for talking about like creative failures and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's like, all right, I'll talk about a show I don't like that failed, or a show that I actually like that failed. You know, just to be fair. What else is there? Tried an itch on my nose. Then 0083 is after that. Which, when we review 0083, that's the start of the Grips War. And we're going to start doing Grips War stuff. So, are you doing G-Unit and Endless Waltz? Not doing G-Unit. G-Unit is very self-contained. So, yeah. Didn't it flop because they canceled Gundam Wing? No, Gundam Wing didn't get canceled. Gundam Wing had a full run. Gundam Wing got every episode that they planned. It's one of the longest running Gundam shows. Like it got an almost 50 episodes. There's not like the last Gundam show to get that kind of a run in it was IBO. So yeah, it had nothing to do with Wing. What happened with Gundam? So this is the thing that there's a lot of weird like stuff about Gundam that gets talked about that like it's not based in actual fact in regards to the popularity of each series. So what happened was Gundam fell with Victory. Victory was the big downturn and the exit of Tomino. Because Victory did not do well in the ratings. And when you watch Victory, especially the first 25 episodes, it's easy to understand why. Which whenever I review Victory, I will go over that. It also didn't help that Victory up to that point was the darkest of any Gundam thing. After that, they needed a comeback. So they had G Gundam and Gundam Wing were the next two series after that. Those, the ratings of Victory were around like a 2.5 in the ratings. G Gundam and Gundam Wing did a 4 each. And then Gundam X came out and it did a 1. It just flopped, you know. So, because you flop in the ratings, you don't get the sponsors. You don't get the sponsors, you don't continue your runtime. In your Wing review, you mentioned the movies are in a separate timeline. Is that really true? I was a kid then, but I thought it was in the same continuity. So, there is a separate timeline, but the events do not contradict one another. For example, the events of Endless Waltz the film could easily be canonical to the original television series, and it fits perfectly. The difference is that Bandai stated later on that it was a separate timeline. So when Glory of the Losers came out, it basically fleshed out what happened in that timeline, though it's basically the same story. Just a couple things are changed around. So yeah. Yeah, and then Seed came in, but we don't talk about that. Well, was X just too much at once? I mean, it is partially that. The biggest problems with X, I go into detail in the video, but it is one of the weakest Gundam shows aesthetically, and it has kind of a glacial pace at points, which really hurts it. Plus, it has a soundtrack that is just not... The orchestral score is not that good. It blends in with the furniture. Now, people are immediately going to want to talk about the openings. The openings are bangers, but everything else music-wise is just not there. So... Yeah, Victory had a lot of uncomfortable scenes and a lot of what the fuck. Yeah, especially the part where a grown woman tries to bathe naked with a 12-year-old boy. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, you had to bite her on the titty to get away. What did I think of the new show? Did not like it. You'll have to go through the VOD. I don't want to do the whole spiel again, but I didn't like it at all. It had some positive points, but I just, man, could not do it. I feel like with X, talking about that again, I feel like its strongest element is its story. It has a really, really, really good story. And I really like the way that it tackles the new type question. I think that's really cool. The one thing about it, like, I saw people that did videos on Gundam X, like, I don't know why this show flopped. Like, I know exactly why it flopped, dude. The problem is that here on the internet, we get way too many people, and this is going to be me ranting before I finally turn in for the night. We get way too many people that sit there and tell you that aesthetics don't matter, and that's fucking bullshit. Anybody who tells you that aesthetics don't matter is out of their fucking gourd. Absolutely out of their fucking gourd. Aesthetics absolutely fucking matter. Do you want to know why Gundam Seed has the visual designs that it does? Gundam Seed was basically grown in a lab to make a mecha show that teenage girls could get into. And that's why it's stupid popular. That's why there's a lot of girls you will find that are Gundam Seed fans. Somebody mentioned to me that I think it was like Iris from Hollow Live. Like, oh yeah, she likes Gundam, and I looked on like her favorite anime. It mentioned Gundam Seed, and I'm like, bubble-headed girl likes Gundam Seed. Yeah, it fits. I think Ina is the one that likes the Universal Century stuff, because I know she's a big fan of Unicorn. But like, it was grown in a lab from the ground up to have designs. Character designs, mobile suit designs, stuff like that would be easy to understand, and for teenage girls basically to get into. The NTR plots and stuff like that's stuff popular with teenage girls. You know, like it was grown in a vat to basically appeal to teenage girls, and it fucking worked. Because it knew its audience. It has always known its audience. That's one of the things that I will absolutely, say from a business standpoint was very smart when it came to Gundam Seed, is it knew its audience. It knew what it was targeting. Gundam X does not know what it's targeting at points in regards to a lot of elements. I feel like it just didn't have that cohesive vision that it needed. It's in the same way that Iron-Blooded Orphans knows its audience. It absolutely knows its audience. Iron-Blooded Orphans wanted to hook people that love real robot shows. So we're going to make the most real robot show ever. If you don't like Gundam, but you like Votoms, you're going to like IBO, because we do Votoms stuff in this. Do you like the Armored Core games? Well, this is basically Gundam Armored Core. So on and so forth. They were locked in with how they were going to fucking market it and who they were going to push it towards. And every Gundam that has had stupid success since Seed has been because of that. They knew exactly who they were going for, and it worked. It's the same thing with Witch from Mercury. Witch from Mercury is not a good show, but it knew its audience. It was aiming for girls, and they got it. Now, it's still not a good show, but mostly because it didn't really, plotline wise, it couldn't settle on how dark it wanted to be, on how Gundam it wanted to be. So, love Dark Gundam. Me too. I feel like Gundam is at its best when it's a seinen. So key was knowing the audience. Basically, knowing who the story is going to appeal to, yeah. Because I'm of the opinion that it's really hollow to just write a story that's just aimed at a demographic from the start. I think what you should do is you should take the story and then think about who is going to like this the most and then aim it at that person. It's sort of like Gears of War. Gears of War knows exactly who it's aimed at. It's aimed at people who love shooters. So it puts together a bunch of stuff that people who like shooters really like. Big guns, loud guns, lots of blood and guts, manly men, hot chicks, and a fucked up war story. And it just goes fucking ham. And you target it at young men who love that sort of shit, and it's gonna sell gangbusters, and it fucking did. And yeah, that was the reason also that IBO is as successful as it was. Is like, this is a show that people who really like, the people who have been sad because they feel that Mecha is dying for whatever reason, this is a show for them. This is a show to show those people that it is very much alive and can be revived at the flip of a switch. All right. I'm tired. So, got an update for you guys on some stuff. Give me just a second here. One moment. I'm doing a thing. So, I do not have any comic books at the moment that I'm writing that are on Indiegogo and have ongoing campaigns. But I do have books that I'm editing. So Cyberpop Control Theory, for anybody who has not backed this yet, please consider doing so. It is the book that I'm doing with the almighty Lolly. Link is now in the chat. We have 19 days left. We're almost at 24K. We're only $2 away from it. We are almost at 24K. You have 19 days left to get your hands on one of the Dakimakuras and the all-in-one boxes. During these last 19 days, these are the only days where we are going to renew the stock on these items. After that 19 days, we're cutting it off. You won't be able to buy the box anymore. You won't be able to order Dakis or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. So, for those of you who have not backed the campaign yet, it is a story about a cybernetic pop star, thus the name Cyberpop, turned assassin, and her meeting with a girl failure that changes her life. It is a fun, violent romp that you will definitely enjoy. Another thing that I'm also working on, we're actually going to do a little bit more scripting for this, aren't we, Serena? I'm reminding her to do it. But the sequel to Serena's book, Black Rhapsody Book 2, has a mailing list up. We are trying to get signatures for that before we start going live with any crowdfunding. We're trying to get it up to 100. We are 40 away. So, here's my thing. I'm going to add... It costs $0 to get on this mailing list. If this mailing list hits 100 signatures by the end of next Friday, I will squeeze a review of Vampire Hunter D into this little vampire series I'm doing. 100 by next Friday, and I will squeeze it in. So for those of you in the chat that wanted that from me, sign up for that mailing list. We get to 100 by next Friday, and I will squeeze it in. We got 37 people that are watching right now. We could get close right fucking now. The link is in the chat. So, with all that said, we've also got 37 people watching the video, but only 24 likes, so hit that button too. Helps me out significantly if you hit that like button. So if you enjoyed the stream today, hit that. Just like right now. I want to see that number go up. But anyway. I do want to thank you all for coming by the way. We had like upwards of like 50 people watching at one point, which is fucking cool. This freaking bandage wants to keep coming off. But what was I saying? Oh. So next time we do something, we'll probably, if not tomorrow, we'll do something on Tuesday. I don't know yet. But, can't do anything on Wednesday. I have a job interview that morning. But, am I going to get a new Twitter account? Why would I need a new one? Did I get banned and I don't know it? No, it's still there. Why would I need a new... What? Huh? I'm very confused now as why you would ask that. Like, it's right here. I'll put it in the chat for you. That's my Twitter account. It said it doesn't exist when I clicked the one in your video description. Let me have a look. It might... Yeah, it says my... Twitter.com Micah_Curtis. That's why. Alright, I've updated it. It's good now. Alright. I am going to call it there. I am tired. I've been up for 24 hours. So I'm going to get some sleep. We might be back tomorrow. We will see what happens. I'm going to go make sure my sinuses are clear. Because tomorrow I got a bunch of stuff I got to do. I got to make chicken stock tomorrow. Because I'm going to have some more braised pork in the near future. And I need a good braising liquid. And you need stock for that. So everybody have yourselves a great rest of your day. And if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend too. Now go do something productive.